Hello and welcome to the Cyber Den, your weekly dose of tech and games, right here on Siren FM. I, Jake, will be chatting to Shane Neville of the game company Robot Ninja Dinosaurs. He's one of the masterminds behind the upcoming first-person shooter Bunker Punks, coming soon for the PC and Mac. Thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Now, Shane, Bunker Punks is said to replicate the appearance and gameplay of old-school sprite-based shooters like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D. But first, let's discuss the story. An apocalypse has ravaged the world. What exactly happened, and what was your inspiration for the story?
It comes down to a lot of things. Social media is really great at aggregating news and kind of amplifying things. So if you take a look at your feed on Facebook on any given day, there's dozens of things that are bringing about the end of our society. The bees are dying, the climate is changing, pollution is terrible, the frogs are dying, the economy's going out of whack. So I just thought, instead of saying, well, which one of these is going to cause the apocalypse, it's like, what happens if all of them happen in a very, very short period of time? And so basically simultaneous collapse creates this extremely fast apocalypse where society just drops in a matter of years.
Now, what kind of exciting weapons, characters, and enemies are there to be found in Bunker Punks?
Well, you play a bunker punk, so you live in a bunker, an underground hideout, basically, and there's a whole bunch of different characters, over a dozen, but some of them, there's Molly Pop, who's a fast-moving sharpshooter. There's Cleopatra Rex, she's kind of like a human wrecking ball. She's really strong. There's Null Point, who's a heavy weapons kind of guy. The weapons are the full range. You've got your shotguns, your pistols, your automatic rifles, your long-range rifles, some melee weapons like baseball bats and crowbars. And within each one of those kind of things, like if you got your pistols, there's a bunch of different types of pistols depending on what you want. If you want something that's does a lot of damage but doesn't shoot as fast, or something that's got rapid fire but does less damage. So you can kind of outfit your characters depending on how you want them to perform in the game. You're waging war with these corporations that have basically created their own little governments all over the world, or all over North America after the apocalypse. And so you're raiding these strongholds, trying to get supplies for your bunker, trying to get food and medicine, weapons, building materials so that you can survive out in the wastes. And so the characters that you're fighting, there's the police force of the corporations, which are called the proxy men. There's different drones, and then there's different armored characters that you can fight. And so within these three different classes, there's a bunch of different ways that you can battle them, as well as bosses and automated turrets and things like that you'll find.
What features will Bunker Punks offer? For example, I do like the sound of the randomly generated levels and the RPG elements that's offered.
When you play Bunker Punks, the entire game, when you start a new game, everything is generated randomly. So you start off with a bunker, and the first few rooms in that bunker are generated randomly. The first couple of punks that you have in your bunker, those are chosen randomly from a big pool. And then as soon as you start in the first-person shooter part, every single time the world is built completely randomly. And the system is actually quite similar in some ways to old-school FPS games. So the rooms there's not a lot of verticality. They're more horizontal, so you're doing a lot of circle strafing, hiding behind pillars and things like that. The gameplay itself, what I really wanted to go for was something that was really fast-paced, a lot of run and gun. Instead of coming out from behind cover and taking a shot at somebody and hiding for your shields to recover, it's about going in, guns blazing, bullets everywhere, and just trying to stay alive while you're dropping as many enemies as you can. On top of that, each one of your punks has a full character development tree, so you can upgrade their stats, get them new abilities, make them expertise in certain weapons or different types of equipment. And there's a whole ton of loot in the game that you can equip for armor, leather jackets, bulletproof vests, different things that can give you different perks when you play the game.
Let's discuss the soundtrack of the game, which players will receive if they pre-order. What music style has the composers gone for in Bunker Punks?
Every faction in Bunker Punks is going to have a different sound. So the first faction that you'll be able to play is the Zero Sum Gang, and they're based out of Texas. The overall sound of the game is an industrial sound, and Rail Cardinal is an industrial composer. The other one is Gordon McGladdery. Rail Cardinal does a lot of music under Coma Duster, but he also has produced some albums for really popular industrial bands like Frontline Assembly. Overall uniting feel is an industrial sound, but then we go with a heavy flavor for each gang. So the Zero Sum Gang, based in Texas, the inspiration for that band, their sound is Mad Max meets Route 66 meets Spaghetti Western. So you've got some trumpets, you've got some different instruments that kind of grunge things up. Some of the interesting things they've done, they've created instruments by sampling, basically hitting a rubber chicken with a mallet for a drum. They've created some noise machines out of old toy Fisher-Price cassette decks. The composers are really, really having a lot of fun with this, and I just got a new song the other day, and it's just been playing on loop because it's really an interesting sound, and I think it's going to get a lot of people excited.
Shane, thank you so much for coming to this interview on Siren FM 107.3.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
And I would also like to thank my dear listeners out there for once again tuning into this great interview on the Cyber Den, your weekly dose of tech and games. This is Jake signing off. See you later, Shane.
Take care.